This is TNT Sports' Adam Summerton, and you're listening to Three Fish on the Shirt.
This is John Sander. You're listening to Three Fish on the Shirt.
Hello, evening, and welcome to this week's Three Fish on the Shirt. Lots to unpack this week. I've got with me Steve Risley, as usual. Hi, Steve. How are you?
Hi, Dave. I'm fine, mate. All good. Getting over the win. That's on Saturday.
Getting over. What a way to win. Looking forward to getting back to BP on Saturday.
Yes, yeah. Can't wait for that. Looking forward to that. Playing Carlisle.
Yeah, they're
bottom of the league.
Team in bother, but with a new manager this morning. So we'll come back to that in a little while. Yeah. Just a quick advertisement before we kick off. If you enjoy what we're doing on the channel, please share and subscribe the YouTube channel or where you get your podcasts from. It helps us massively to help grow the podcast. And if you want to get involved, please get in touch. So without further ado, as I said, lots to unpack. We've had two games since we last spoke. We had the Gillingham game pretty much on the day the last podcast came out. And we've had Bromley since then. So picking up first on the Gillingham game, we needed a reverse. Needed a reaction after the 3-0 reverse at Barrow. And what a game. What a weird game.
It was a strange game, wasn't it? It was like just couldn't get out. Well, second half, we just couldn't get our own half, could we? And it was all them. But we played well in the first half. Yeah. I thought we passed the ball well. Probably passed it too much. We needed to get it in the box a bit more. But I thought second half we're going to come out, and we didn't. But they pressed us, and we just couldn't get out our own half.
But when we did do that, in the 97th and 98th minute, we could have scored 3 goals.
We could have got, Svan Thorson had a great shot. Good save by their keeper.
It was a good save, yeah.
Thought that was it, and I thought that was it. Thought we're not going to score now, and then we did. A great finish by Rose, a little flick in, and then Buckley got through into the goal, but he just passed it just behind Rose.
Rose was flying in, and it went over like he'd been poleaxed, and there was no one near him.
And he was absolutely gutted at the end.
He was. I think he thought we could have and should have won. I think
it was just good.
The Gillingham fans got great value for that second half because most of the game was played right in front of them.
Yeah, it was all in that quarter, right in that corner.
It seemed to be, didn't it?
Because my mate Adam was as a Gillingham fan. He was in the away end, and he was there was only about 4. Well, he said there was going to be about 300 to 400 fans, Gillingham fans there. But
I think while he was sat amongst them, he said that, and I think we corrected him and sent him a photograph, didn't we?
Well, like 30 and 40.
I think it was more like 125, something like that, wasn't it? So it wasn't,
something like
not
that.
Bad for a Tuesday night for a team that's not doing very well.
It was all in that quadrant, wasn't it? The whole second half, just couldn't get out.
Yeah. First half we had much the better side. JDS and Green had chances to put us in front in the first half, but the finish of the half was down to Doug Tharm.
Oh, looking at it, it's unlucky. For it, he could have got anywhere, couldn't it? But
that was the sound. The sound you just made then was the very sound the pontoon made en masse when it went in.
Yeah,
I've never heard such a collective sigh before from a team.
It was, wasn't it?
Team's fans.
There's nothing you could do. He tried to do it. Apparently, he's working on his feet position. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
David Artell's in his own little personalised training.
But apparently that's because he tends to look up to where he's clearing it before he's actually cleared it. So he takes his eye off the ball at the last minute and he's looking up. And there's a clip of David Artell. I'll pop it on the YouTube version of this if I can find it. And after the goal, he's showing the bench. He's looking up. I'm gonna. And
but if he plays golf, he slices his shot. He lifts his head up.
But what a finish! What a finish!
Yeah,
and
it was a great finish.
There's also a piece from German Gills, which is I don't know if they're based in Germany, but it's a Gillingham channel, and he kind of watches the games and comments on them.
Posed luckily for Gillingham.
It's a good touch from Hutton there. He needs to get the pace still going forward, make the right decision. It was an okay ball. It's direct defeat, though. It would be better if it was in front of Nolan, but he has still got the ball. Can he get on this? He puts the ball into the box. He said, "No, it slides towards the goal!" And Gillingham's 2 goals so far of 2025 have been own goals. They've been scored for us. Grant, this goal here is much more chaotic and much more comical than the one at Tranmere, but we've managed to score 2 goals in 2025, and it's been the opposition that's done it for us. It's a hell of a slice of a clearance. Didn't see who managed to do it. Was it Tharm in the end who managed to swipe his left foot at that one? I think it was, was it Rogers didn't quite see, but nonetheless, my
friend sent me that, yeah.
He just pees himself laughing when Tharm scores that goal because,
and
we actually featured it last week. Their only goal of January was at Tranmere up to this match. And it was an own goal as well. And as it turns out, the only 2 goals he scored in the whole of January were those 2 own goals. And they also run a goal of the month competition, which...
Nolan's going to put some straight into the box. He has got the sun in his eyes. He takes his shot instead, and it's got Little who tries to give it to Dak on the inside. Can he get the shot away? Dak, he can. It's gone across the face. A goal shot! He's got it in the back of the net! Finally, we've got a goal in 2025, and it comes from... Better if it was in front of Nolan, but he has still got the ball. Can he get on this? He puts the ball into the box. He said, "No, it slides towards the goal!" And Gillingham's 2 goals so far of 2025 have been own goals. They've been scored for us.
Gills fans, which goal was your favourite this month? Pick from our top 3 nominations.
Which there was those 2 goals basically. And bloody hell, if we can't win anything, we had to win that, didn't we? Doug Tharm won the He won the goal of the month for Gillingham.
Well, we weren't going to win anything else in January.
Bless him. For me, Doug Tharm's got a fair bit of credit in the bank, so I think there was a lot of sympathy for him. And I think we felt a bit strange going in 1-0 down at half time after really being the only side that looked like doing anything, really.
No, played well first half, so we passed it towards the end of the first half. They were time were passing it, and Artell was saying, get it forward a bit quicker, because you got to get in the box at some point.
But there were times when we started lumping it, and a part of that is down. Do you think is that because of the pitch? Because the pitch was in a poor state. It rained, hadn't it, quite heavily on and off. It was cutting up really badly as it has in the last few games. A lot of
the bounces and all.
Yeah, the bounce was ridiculous. It was just like pinball. It was bouncing all over the place. And it really did want somebody to literally get the foot on the ball and keep it on the deck, because it was well, to watch. It was a dog with fleas, wasn't it? The game. It was awful.
It was, yeah.
Second half,
weird, strange game. Just in second half, we just couldn't get in, couldn't get out, and then, but. Like I said, when they went ahead 1-0, I said, "This is a test now, mentally, because we go behind, we tend not to come back and get anything out of the game, and we did.
They didn't give up right to the end. Just one little bit on the pitch before we move on to the goal. A lot of talk about the pitch and spend some money, this, that, and the other. Owners, please spend some money and blah blah blah. Get the pitch right, and. I think Jason Stockwood had a bit of a bite back at a couple of people. And I actually shared our podcast from episode 8 with Kieran Maguire about the finances of town. And it's all right, people saying, "No, throw some money at it," And we had probably 10 to 15% of the views on top of what we'd seen in previous for that episode, just because people had latched onto it, which was really great. So if you haven't seen the Kieran Maguire episode, have a look, episode 8. And
us to talk. Kieran Maguire, the football finance expert, joins us to talk.
If you take one kid, you look at 128 quid.
Do the owners actually understand the game?
The minute
Kieran Maguire is a sports finance expert at Liverpool University. Kieran, morning.
Sold. Well, let's get more on this with Kieran Maguire.
I think Jason Andrews' position was a bit like the bank of mum and dad. I assume you're not over keen on Lincoln City.
And Grimsby becomes not the imps, but the gimps.
Right. Oh, it's worse than a poor investment. It's spectacularly done. Yes, there are some arseholes at football clubs. We're not denying that, who own them. But they're not a Grimsby town, I can assure you. You're swimming with sharks. The average losses in League One was £6 million. Your love of Grimsby Town is just as important as a Manchester United fan. You've got Grimsby Town in your life. Love it.
Episode 8. And it's
Talks a lot of sense.
It's symbolic of the catch up these guys have had to do. I mean, they've had to redo the main stand, they've had to do all sorts with the ground. As we've said previously, the ground looks smarter. And the pitch was better, but it's kind of gone back again to being a bit boggy.
They have done a lot of work on the pitch, haven't they? You know,
a couple of observations from me, and I'm no a grass expert or anything, but the climate has changed without doubt. We not that long ago, in the last 20 years, have had droughts in the summer, hosepipe bans. If you think back to the early 2000s, hosepipe bans and all that sort of stuff, because there wasn't enough rain in the summer. And then gradually summers have got wetter. For you not to have a drought, you need actually all your rain in the winter. When you can, the plants don't hold on to it because plants are growing fast in the summer, and so everything absorbs the moisture. So that's switched around a little bit. We've had some drier, wetter summers and wetter winters, so it's never getting chance to fully drain and completely dry out, especially in the winter when if it's sodden all winter, it ain't going to dry out.
No, you just have to look around the fields around Lincolnshire. There's covered in water, so, and it's on clay, so it's just never going to.
Yeah, you're right. And what I've said is, it's never going to be right. Like somebody said, "Oh, it wasn't like that in the early 2000s." Yeah, but it was drier in the winter. Then we'd not stocked enough water in the winter.
It's true that
previous. So there's a lot of that to go at, as well as all the other stuff.
At least we get our games on generally, unlike some clubs.
Well, you know that we're trying like stink to get our games on. We don't just make our pitch smaller to cope, do we? Colchester.
I don't know who does that.
And they did it the other day again, didn't they? It was the other night, wasn't it? Same night.
Yeah, same night. Yeah.
So
postponed.
So as we said previously, in the dying stages was 7 minutes added on, predominantly due to a crowd emergency. So that person who was taking it on, and bless them, I hope they're feeling much better now and everything's okay. And that's our first and best wish. But I think they might be able to claim an assist as well, because we needed them 7 minutes, didn't we, to get a chance?
Seven, and there was some. I think it was about 9 or 10 minutes in the end.
One of the things we've missed a little bit from early in the season is that green marauding runs like we saw. We saw it last probably against Accrington. We saw it little shades in the first half, but he got away down the right, put a great cross on the edge of the 6-yard box for Danny Rose. He snuck in, really, didn't he?
Yeah, well, that's going right to the end, isn't it? Fitness wise, and they were shattered. I thought Gillingham toward the end because with their press, I mean, they put some work in that second half.
That's proper strikers play though, that, isn't it?
Oh, it was a great goal. And then Rose, just when he celebrated, he just stood there, didn't he?
Yeah.
In front of the pontoon, almost saying, "I don't know, really." He didn't really celebrate it, and I think our tell was tell him to get back. Yeah. We can win this.
Yeah. Sven Thorson put the ball out the net, quick, sharp, and was running back.
Yeah.
And as you say, sorry, go on.
Say Rose has just stood there, like this to the pontoon, like, look at me. And I'm thinking, go on, get back.
And then he got mobbed.
Good goal though.
Yeah. And after saying that, as you said, look for a better pullback from a big a minute later, and JDS not having his shots saved, we could have been in for an unlikely win. Certainly 3-1 would have flattered us probably. But you couldn't have argued with us sneaking it at the end. Although
No,
it may
I
have
was
been
happy with the
undeserved.
draw.
Well, that was my just going away from the game. You just thought, what an odd game. You think you should have been ahead at half time. You end up 1-0 down, which is bizarre. And then you come out thinking, oh well, it'll spur us on. Hope we don't get one of those crap second halves again. We get the worst of the worst second halves we've had, and
It was
we
just
still managed
weird.
to get a draw, which is good.
I honestly didn't think we was going to never score. We couldn't even get out our own half.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we did. In the last 10 minutes, we looked like we were going to win it. But I was happy to come away from with a draw. That
another thing
definitely.
I noticed was that David Artell had a bit of an altercation with a fan at not at full time, but when the goal was scored. And I've got a shot of it in the background to my footage of the goal of him going and pointing out and saying, "Look, that's what we can do." And I think fans were right to be frustrated in that game. I think we all were, but many there are quite a few that go a bit over the top, a bit too quickly. I think.
Well, I don't know what he must have been using some choice language to the fan and having a go, and you should play two up front and all this lot. And I think he was. Artell said back to him in the interview, I won't go into his workplace on Monday and tell him what to do in his job.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll stand and fall on it. Talking to managers, John Coleman, former of Accrington, who'd been a manager of both Doug Tharm and Harvey Rogers, in his interview said he'd made a mistake and he should have gone 5 at the back and should have tightened things up rather than doing what he did, change the midfield around, I think, in a few minutes to
go. I've been managing a long time, and I made a wreck at the end, made the wrong sub, and that's no disrespect to Johnny Williams. I should have put Max Clark on, gone to 5 at the back. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, but it's not hindsight. I'm experienced enough to know that was the call, and I made the wrong one. And I'm man enough to admit it that I made the wrong one. And as I said, that's no slight on Johnny. But we should have just gone 5 at the back and tightened it up. They were going long. They hadn't laid a glove on us in the second half till the last 5 minutes. They could have scored 3. And so we'd had the warning when Glenn's made a great save.
In a few minutes to go. And he said they had 3 shots after that. So I'm not saying they wouldn't have scored, but he seemed to wear that one on the chin. So I don't know if he's protecting his players or what. But, it's rare to hear a manager completely fully take it on the chin like that.
Yeah, well, he's an experienced manager, isn't he?
Yeah, and he said, for all my experience, it's not even hindsight. I should have known better. So
let's
be thankful. If that was the reason, that's what he did. So
you don't always see the tactical switches in games. When you're a fan, you sort of what formation you're sort of playing, but sometimes you don't see the switch. You might see winger switch over, like Stan Thorson does did on that game. But
in game definitely. I think you don't necessarily notice it, especially where we sit, because you're looking at the game from a very specific angle behind the goal. I think if you say sat in the Findus,
you'll see it
up particularly, you'd probably notice it even more.
Yeah, was it Vernon and Stan Thorson was swapped over, didn't they, a couple of times? Tried it like.
Yeah, absolutely. So good point at the end. I think we were disappointed at half time that we weren't winning and we were losing.
I know. It's weird, isn't it? If we were 1-0 up and they scored in the last minute, we'd be disappointed. So but it's the same score.
But that's one thing we said, didn't we? Turn some of them games that would have been losses into draws would be an improvement still. And so it was.
Definitely, that game we stuck at it. Mentally, it was a test, and they came back and got the goal. So
I think Artell said the same, didn't he? He said we'd have probably lost that game this time last year.
Say because we don't come back from going behind very hardly at all, apart from the Carlisle game, which we won from behind. True. But it's a start.
And then Saturday we had a long trek down to Kent to Bromley. To meet our old foe Andy Woodman, who can't stand the club but loves the club. And I've got a little clip of both there aspects of Andy Woodman saying how much he can't stand town and how much he loves town. So I'll play those 2 little clips for you.
Fair to say there's no love lost between you guys and Grimsby. after a few comments that were made after the last game?
Yeah, 100%. I don't like them. I don't like the comments they made about my team. I don't like the comments they made about when we won at our place. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and candy flop.
Town on Saturday, and another side we've had some blockbuster games with over the years.
We've had some great games at Grimsby. I've had a history with Grimsby. As they always remind me, they beat me in a playoff final at Wembley, broke my heart. It's a club I've got a lot of time for. You know, I've really always liked Grimsby. I know they all think I've got this thing against them. I haven't. It's a fixture I really look forward to because it's always going to be a tough fixture. The one thing I would say about Grimsby as a town and as a football club, it reminds me, and I know people can laugh, the fans just want their team to give everything every week, a bit like Newcastle fans, you know, and that, so they'll be well supported, Grimsby, and they'll be behind their team, and we've got to be ready. And you know, the manager's a good manager. He's got them, you know, playing well and up the table. So we've got to make sure we're prepared and don't think it's like any game. It's going to be an easy game. It's not.
That clip on Twitter saying somebody put on there, he's making like crying baby sounds.
All right, yeah.
Did you see that one?
No, I haven't seen that one. But
yeah, well, what do you think today's game, Andy? He says, oh, well, so that's great.
Yeah. So Saturday, David Artell seemed to listen to people about two up front, and we saw the return of Justin Abiku up front with Danny Rose in a sort of 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2, depending on the point in the game you're at, whether going forward or going back. Against a big, solid Bromley side who are mostly bigger than us.
Well, I'll say that's probably why they put three at the back for the onslaught.
Three big lads, yeah.
Yeah, and then three centre halves, and then wing back. So because they were big. I remember them. We played them at our place. They were huge.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're all about 6 foot, over 6 foot, nearly all of them.
And hats off to Jason Santhorson, who played a marvellous game at right wing back. He was absolutely unbelievable all game, especially defensively. He was really cool. He had people on him quite quickly, and he would play himself out of trouble. And he seems to be unraffled by the touchline. You know, where sometimes players get tight to the touchline and they just run the ball out, or whatever. He seems to be able to play his way down the line and not be worried about the fact that he's kind of run out of room, which was really noticeable at the weekend.
Might have found his position. If
if he can play in that position,
we'll play that formation.
When we need to play that formation, it doesn't really matter whether he's playing a full-on forward or not. And he was still getting forward as well. It wasn't like he was not. I think with a bit of better finishing, he could have had 5 or 6 goals for us already. Now he's got 3, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I reckon he could have had another 3 or 4 goals if he's shooting with a bit more composure.
I know David Hart is. You know, we said that he's a bit. Sometimes he goes through and goal, and he should score. We've seen it a couple of times, and he just like his shot doesn't go anywhere. But I think he slowly but surely he is getting better.
Yeah, I think so. And I think at the weekend he really did work hard, and he worked his socks off, and he got a lot of plaudits. So first half, Town were really, really under the cosh. I mean, the tail of the tape was the corners 9-1 in favour of Bromley, and Town could barely get out their half. Had very few chances. A bit of a shout for a penalty when Green was upended in the box, which when you look at maybe 2 or 3 of the last 3 or 4 of the last away games where we've given away penalties, you've seen them given against us. So again, that's back to my beef about it seems to be GBH or worse to get a penalty for us, but not for others. And tail of the first half was them just battering us and us standing firm.
Well, credit to the whole team, really, isn't it? The back three, you know, it's a formation we hadn't played for quite a while, really. Yeah. So,
they looked comfortable in it though. Jordan defended well, and Jordan Wright played well, made some good saves as well. I think. Hats off to him, good saves, because he gets a lot of flack when things don't go quite right. So
when he got man of the match against Gillingham, didn't he? And you remember the pontoon laughed.
Well, everybody laughed, I think, and that was unfortunate because I don't think there was a massive laugh at him because he was shit. I think it was a slightly ironic laugh that it was the keeper because we had been shit.
Oh, I think he just a few minutes before that he kicked the ball out,
and that's the one. Not 2 minutes before he'd oofed we were desperate to get forward, and he oofed it into the lower finders, and you think, oh,
Yeah.
And I
It's
think
like
it was more that it was unfortunate and a bit unfair, yes. But I think I was probably one of the people that laughed along with everyone else.
Well, I did.
But it was a little unfair. But
Yeah.
with keepers, they get a lot of shit when it doesn't go right.
Well, it's
but-
like if you give a striker or an outfield player man of the match, and then he goes and skies one right towards it after towards the end, you think, you
Yeah, it's
similar to that, isn't
still
it?
get a laugh, yeah. And
Yeah, still
and
get
I
a
think
laugh.
the other side of that coin is, he's had a good game, so give him some credit. When
He's
he's had a
pulled off
crap,
some good saves.
yeah, we had a crap game. By all means, without getting personal, say
Well,
the
no,
opposite.
Bromley game, he pulled off a great save. That's in the second half, was it?
Yeah. When he touched over the bar, yeah. That was the first half. That one.
First half, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, because that was a good ball from their player.
And
Like
did
I
you
was saying.
notice that the way we were dragged across to the left again, our left?
Yeah.
Like
same.
it was nearly a carbon copy of the Barrow first goal. And I was thinking,
Yeah, because that guy who passed it looked like he was going to shoot, but he didn't. He did a pass to the left,
and their man was the furthest man out on the left.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're on to it this time. And
That was a good save.
Yeah, it was. And so we came out second half to our fearful thinking around, oh God, are we going to get another crap second half and get capitulating here? And within a minute of the restart, Danny Rose has popped the ball into the net in spectacular yet bizarre fashion. What did you make of that?
I don't think I've ever seen a goal like it. It's like I've shown quite a few people it, like, and because even the commentators, as I was listening to the game, they didn't know how.
Yeah, they weren't
scored.
sure. They were waiting on somebody to send them it. Yeah.
Somebody sent them a video, and he just scooped it up, and in one sort of motion, he just rolled it on his foot, and the keeper. I think the keeper had stayed on his line. He was probably caught it.
Yeah.
But he came out. I think it took a deflection off the keeper.
It hit his arm, didn't it? Yeah, on the way through.
Yeah, and then he didn't. Svan Thorson sort of make sure it went in the net, but
it was in the back of the net.
Danny.
Yeah.
Danny Rose all over that, isn't it?
No! Oh, what happened there? Oh, just got looped up over his
I'm sorry, that's not been probably the first goal of its kind in football history. Something you see on a Sunday league pitch, you're just sat in your garden. He's sat on the floor, he's flicked it backwards and dinked to the goalkeeper. I think the rest of the team stopped playing because they thought it was a foul or just it went out of play, but no. Well, the away side, within seconds of the second half, find themselves ahead, and I don't think I'm the only one here in disbelief.
This weekend, Danny Rose is wired differently, and we love it.
He is.
He's
wired differently. He's a bit quirky.
You've got to say, it counts the same as a 35-yard spectacular Phil Jevons at Liverpool strike, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the same.
Well, it does, yeah.
Same value in terms of the game.
Same value, but yeah.
I was in them circumstances, if I can, look at the fans behind the goal if they're either for or against. So if your team letting a goal in, I like to see what the reaction is behind the goal. And it was just a bit like, huh? What I've just seen. And it was cracks me up. But the other thing I noticed about that goal was the build-up. It was Green down the right and Danny Rose effort, more or less like it was at the Gillingham game, the goal at Gillingham.
Yeah.
He was coming in to have that shot. He sort of made contact with it, but it ended up on his backside. And it was from there he managed to sort of roll over onto his backside, flip the ball up with both feet, and then stick his left boot on it. And
we've missed those runs from Greeny. He gone off a little bit, but he's come back now.
Yeah, and it was his 100th appearance at the weekend, so that was quite fitting for him to have a positive impact on the game again.
Our first win of 2025.
Yeah. So the other thing I've that sort of rekindled in my mind was the reference to Danny Rose's goal has been like school crab football. If anybody ever played crab football at school, you shuffled around on your backside with the ball, and it was basically football, but you had to play shuffling about on your backside in the sports hall. And
never heard of that before.
You never heard of that?
There you go.
I used to do crab football.
Right.
Anybody do crab football? Drop us a line.
Crabby.
So we then just laid siege to them. Then really, we just kept the ball, kept going forward. Had a few chances, and then I think it was George McEachran had a shot. It went through the legs of one of the Bromley players and landed up at the feet of Buckley, who made no mistake. It was really, really good finish, good striker's finish.
Yeah, it came to him from a shot. I think was it Curry? I think
It was either Curry or McEachran.
Yeah, I think it was Curry. He didn't really hit it that well, to be honest.
And it hit one of their players, didn't it? And
yeah, and it came big Curry, and he did his Spider-Man celebration.
Yeah, big Spider-Man fan, apparently. Yeah,
it was like this, wasn't he? He's doing whatever he's.
And his family were in the crowd as well, apparently. So
that was a good moment
one of the
for him.
reasons for it.
I know.
Sorry, go on. You were going to say?
No, I say he always comes across as a laid back, a big crew, doesn't he? When he comes on, he came on the other night, Gillingham game. He's like,
yeah,
man. But he's cool. He's a cool finisher.
He is. Yeah, doesn't seem to be flappable. I think that's why I've said previously. Sometimes if he's not getting the ball to him, he looks lazy. And that's
he
not
can
saying
do.
Not saying he is. I don't want to labour the
point. He's not. He's a completely different player to Danny Rose, isn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think
completely different.
Made that point last week, and I think probably the reason I'm getting mixed up is McEachran hit the post late on as well, and it was just shot from a similar position. It fizzed just at the front of the post and skimmed wide. So it was another day for us to say cheer up Andy Woodman and give him some jip. But he
cheer up Andy Woodman.
Yeah, that's the one. And he was pretty magnanimous in defeat, and and actually in his pre-match preamble, he was quite positive about Town and said they think I don't like him, but that's not true. So he was
just misunderstood.
He likened us to Newcastle fans who really want the best from our team every week and are unrelenting in that want. So. I know it might sound a bit strange, but yeah, it was in decent spirits.
It was just that one game, wasn't it? A couple of seasons ago, when non-league.
Some had been said when they beat us 3-1 at their place, and I think people were less than complimentary about Bromley, and he didn't like it. But that's the double over them this season, which is a positive.
Yeah.
Rose has got 2 of the goals. He got the pen at home and the big crew, so that's 3 goals and none conceded off him. So I think
is that our first double?
Yes, I think it is. The first game we played against them at Buckley Park was their first game they hadn't scored as well, which is something.
So 2 clean sheets against them, then.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah.
Mm.
And we had the other interesting thing on Humberside was that Martin Gritton apparently is turned into a lucky emblem at away games. And
he must live down there. Has he lived down
he
that
said he
London?
lived close by, didn't he?
He's always a co-commentator on the Monday on London games generally.
Yeah, and I tweeted at Dean during the second half and said, "Is he wearing his lucky undies?" And Matt,
has he got some luck?
Matt liked it. I was going to suggest he wears the same undies every time he goes and watches us now. And slight sour note at the end with Cass getting sent off. What did you make of that?
Yeah, well, stupid. I mean, I see the first yellow, kicking the ball. So because he sort of ran with the ball away from the free kick, and then I thought that was it. I thought, well, that's not too bad. And then he kicked it away. I thought, well, that's a booking.
And
then he kicked it again, apparently.
I think he got booked for both of them.
That's brainless, isn't it? It's just,
it's just mine. I think he thought when the ref was coming over to him, he was going to get booked for the hoofing it.
Yeah.
And I think he forgot about the other one, which was only.
I didn't realise
that before.
Yeah, we had 2 yellows for Cass, but there were 6 yellows in total in the game for us, which is quite a lot.
Yeah,
Hume, Thompson, Svanthorson, and Rose all booked.
I was a bit worried when Thompson got booked early because he likes to rat around and nick the ball, and you only want to kick somebody's ankle, don't you? And that's it.
Yeah. So we did get quite a few bookings. So the Cass will be banned now, won't he? For the game, was it?
The day before the match. Sorry, not the day before the match. Day after the match. Yesterday, it was Groundhog Day in America. We've already had Groundhog Day, but one of our episodes was Groundhog Day, February the 2nd. Well, if the same thing happens over and over, 2-0 win every week would be absolutely fine. Thank you very much. But
Groundhog Day and then Groundhog Day 2.
Groundhog Day 2, where we win every week, would be absolutely super.
Yeah.
So long may that continue.
With that. So that win has put us into ninth again.
Yep.
Well, and it's like, if you look at the league table, it's like consolidated our ninth a bit more, a bit better, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
With
absolutely.
the teams around it, like Chesterfield, I think they lost, did they?
They did. They lost at Wimbledon. Yeah.
Cheltenham, was it? Was it
I
Cheltenham?
thought it was Wimbledon. Sorry, my bad. It was Bradford lost
Was
at Wimbledon, wasn't it? That was it.
Yeah, Chesterfield lost at Cheltenham,
Yeah,
and then
I knew they both
yeah,
lost.
but there's that. Yeah, so
So
that was
no,
a.
I'm not always right. Steve. Just some of the time.
Well, yeah, I know you're not always right.
Well, we're on the League Two other scores. So Gillingham got beat by Notts County, so they start the season with a goal of their own. Managed to score their own goal on Saturday, which is good. Not an own goal, their own goal. Notts beat 5-1 off Old Hollowhead on Saturday, and they've sacked their manager this morning. More of that in a bit as we talk about the Carlisle game for us on Saturday. Doncaster beat MK Dons 2-1, and Harrogate and Crewe drew. Which Crewe have been going well. Morecambe, the Shrimps beat the Cods of Fleetwood 4-2, Northwest Derby.
That was a fishy game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and the guy who never wanted to come to town, boo, Andy Dallas scored twice for them. He's collecting more clubs than Jack Nicklaus now, isn't he?
It's a strange one, isn't he? Because he scores goals, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been Solihull, Chesterfield. He's been up to Scotland somewhere. Now he's back at down at Morecambe. Newport beat Barrow 1-0. Port Vale with 10 men for 77 minutes beat Accrington 2-1. Tranmere 1, Colchester 3, and Walsall rescued a point at the end, scoring 3 minutes from the end to equalise after being 2-0 down against Salford. So they're having a bit of a rough time at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, it was a strange one, isn't it? Danny Johnson got 2 for Walsall.
Yeah.
And it's looking like they're going to go down to the third defeat on the trot.
Yeah.
And we did talk about that. They're going to have a bad run. And Doncaster are hot on their heels because they keep winning.
Yeah. 4 wins on the trot. They've got Doncaster. Got into a bit of bother.
Doncaster.
Sorry, go on.
Donny is 7 points behind them now. And they play the game more than Walsall, but they were miles ahead at one point, Walsall. So,
well, it's one of the things. It's a mind game, isn't it? Once you get the wobbles, it's hard to get.
Plenty of games left.
Yeah, so I'm sure they'll pick it back up again. But they've lost some of the big players, haven't they? Like Ryan Lowe went back to Stoke, didn't he? And I'm not sure if they were selling him on then. But,
oh, that's right. Yeah, he scored a lot of goals for them. Young lad.
That's a bit of a good problem for him. Got into a bit of bother this morning with my Tranmere supporting friend. Meeting was cut short. He rang me and said, "Oh, that was good. We've got half an hour back from that meeting." And I said, "Oh, aren't you joining the conference?" What conference for the one next season? And he wasn't happy. But he said he'd report me to his daughter, who was our guest prior to the Tranmere away game, Rach.
Nice one, though. Fell for it.
I'm expecting, did hook, line, and sinker. I'm expecting daggers from them too at some stage.
Fishing him.
Saying when we're fishing.
Fishing.
So and then we've got we're off the back of the results at the weekend. X-Town Analytics. What did you discover from our erstwhile former colleagues who have been doing well elsewhere?
Well, in League One, Shrewsbury Town, Hurst's old stomping ground, was George Lloyd.
What are the scores, George Lloyd?
He got a goal. And
the winner against Mansfield, no less.
The winner, yeah. There was Enciala was sent off.
Yeah.
And then go down to League Two, Christian Dennis. Or was that Tranmere?
Thief.
Tranmere.
That was mine.
Was it?
Correct. No, you've spot on. Christian Dennis, prolific everywhere except at Grimsby, yeah.
Yeah, I had that one down all the time.
Yeah. James Tilley, Wimbledon.
James Tilley, yeah, I can't picture him.
Yeah.
And then Alex going way down now. Alex Hunt for York.
90th minute winning pen against Dagenham and Redbridge.
And he's the penalty taker for them.
Go on, scrape the barrel as well. Go on, scrape the barrel right at the very bottom.
Luke Spokes.
Luke Spokes for Chippenham against Aveley.
That's a great,
Who were
big,
they?
massive.
Exactly.
He was quite a good player, Spokes, I thought, when he was here.
Yeah,
But
he was so good we forgot to announce him, didn't we?
Yeah.
When he signed.
So that's all I've got, yeah.
Other news from the weekend is goals galore going in all over the country. Leeds and Forest both hit 7, which was interesting. Brighton succumbing to Forest and Leeds whacking Cardiff even. And Exeter, who'd lost 6-2 in the week to Leyton Orient, managed to get spanked off Stevenage 4-1 at the weekend. So they've let 10 in 2 games. So,
Yeah.
So goals flying around everywhere. And then
There's a lot of goals.
Yeah, in town news, finally we got the signing of geezer David Chury over the line, in addition to Dara Burns, and the reported fee for both that town has spent in the window is 120k. So, what did you make of that?
Well, I say, been after Geza for
Geezer.
about a year now, and it's been, is he ever going to come here? And what they've obviously pursued him. So yeah, it's good signing.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how he gets on. He's got to get fit, and that he's not fully match fit yet. He's coming from part time to fully professional, so it's going to be a big change for him.
Yeah, and he's
But,
playing
yeah.
a bit like the Svan Thorsen thing. All the things that they didn't think were a problem, although, as David Artell said after the match at the weekend, are things they've learned from the Svan Thorsen signing, like it's hard to hire a car for somebody who's under 25, and
you don't think of that, do you?
No, you don't think of things like that. And he's surprised how green the grass is, and that was Svan Thorsen, and how spongy it is, and playing on grass is different, and they play on hybrid from artificial pitches. So there's lots to get used to. Got to get used to grass and stuff like that.
You'll find it tough on our pitch, that's for sure.
Yeah, there is that.
There'll be some Crocombe cramps coming on.
Yeah, and his club Viking were reluctant to let him go in the summer or prior to their season starting, because they'd let their top player go. Apparently, who's come back now because he didn't really work out his move. So they were a bit less reluctant to discuss him leaving. And I think if we've paid somewhere in the region of 70,000-80,000 quid for him, that would make the Dara Burns sort of 40 to 50k, which sounds about right. But yeah, so it's a good acquisition, and he's somebody who keeps the ball apparently, which is certainly something we need, given how us giving the ball away has led to quite a few goals conceded.
Yeah, I'll say they've been after him for a while, so he must be a decent player, and if it got knocked back to start with, they probably thought, oh, some clubs might have gone elsewhere, but they haven't, and they've kept at it. And I think he said that in that interview with Matt Dean, that Grimsby Town was the one that wanted him the most.
It's nice to feel wanted, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think it is, and they keep, so we'll come back later. We'll see how, we could have just walked away and said, "Oh, that's it then," but we didn't.
And know that feeling only too well, Steve. Being my choice for a partner in doing this particular venture of Three Fish on the Shirt.
It's nice to be wanted.
Told you. And that leaves us in a decent position with a squad strength, I think. If you think last year we brought in Thompson, Hume, and Farm, because we desperately needed them. This year it feels like we're strengthening the team because we can, not because we've got to. I think that's an indication of where we're at right now. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yeah. We're not panicking like Carlisle. Getting 11 players in the bottom of the league. It's all planned out. And they say that in the interviews.
Yeah. Great segue into the weekend's visitors, who happen to be Carlisle, who was spanked 5-1 off Swindon at the weekend, off Hollowhead's team. And right, good spanking for them. They've signed, like you say, 11 players with the new manager's blessing. Then they've sacked him, and has a smack of a feel of us going down when we went down.
I mean, how are they going to select their team on Saturday with all these new players coming in, and who's going to be in charge? it's going to be a bit chaotic there,
you
isn't
can
it?
sign 11 better players,
Yeah.
but if they're not a team, you're knackered, aren't you? And
Yeah. If we will get a result, we'll get a result Saturday. I can feel it. I feel it in my bones.
I hope this time next week we're playing positive noises. But no, I hope so, and I think their recruitment and all the like of that going on now feels a bit like when Town went down. You can't necessarily get all the players you desperately want, but what does happen is that you end up with an uncohesive set of lads who, whilst they're probably half decent, haven't got time to gel in time to get out of a scrap.
Well, if you're down near the bottom and you get transfer window tends to nothing happens till the back end of the month, January, and then there's pressure for teams near the bottom to get some players in, isn't there?
Yeah, and it's the mental pressure on them now in a team that misfiring is so difficult to turn around. So I think they'll do well to turn it around. To be honest,
but you get another manager sacked just before we play them.
Yeah. We can.
The new manager bounce.
Normally like to get rid of them, don't we? Not keep them. The Grimsby.
Oh no, we normally play. We've got many a manager sacked over the years. I can remember a few.
Yeah. If I can,
Gordon Strachan at Coventry springs to mind.
If I can find the Grimsby Reaper logo and the list of managers we've sacked, I think it's the Fishy or God Almighty that put it out. If I can find it,
for you.
I'll put it on the screen. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting match and one we would really want to win, especially given their plight.
Well, if we win Saturday, that's another double.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a wounded animal though, so there's no easy games.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
Yeah,
we'll be fine.
We'll play this clip back next week and see if you're right.
Yeah, but I don't think we'll be seeing the new signings though, will we?
No, I don't think so, and I think that's again a positive sign in that we're prepared to give them the time they need to get up to speed, and get introduced in the right way. I think.
Yeah. Especially with him coming from a different country, for Geza.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Farewell. He's gonna find it quite warm here, I think. So another one.
So they'll be looking out for some new chants for him, won't we? Gaze are good.
All right, Gaze. What's his first name? Was that Geza?
Well, it's Giza David Churi, so I don't know.
Is it David Churi?
Dave.
Right. GDT,
Dave. GDT and JDS.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be looking for. It'd be nice to see him. See him talk. I've heard him talk. I've seen him in interviews, but been going on for ages. So hopefully he's going to be something decent.
Yep. So look forward to getting back to Bromley Park next Saturday. We're just going to take a short break now, and after the break, we'll be back with Mark Lever of Grimsby Town.
Give me a sign. Any sign. Please. Okay, that is a sign. It's just not the one I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Welcome back after that short break. We've got with us now Mark Lever, who's joining us to talk to us about his time at the Mariners. So welcome, Mark. Great to see you again.
Pleased to meet you, Dave. Steve, you all right? Yeah, long time no see.
Yeah, good, thank you. And since the days of catching up on the Mariners while you were playing for him in the farmhouse in New Waltham, as you say, it's been a while. How are you keeping? Are you well?
Yeah, very good. Yeah, as I said to you earlier, just had a bit of man flu the last couple of weeks, but the worst kind. But we all get that, don't we?
Oh, terrible.
That time of year, isn't it? So I'm not going to grumble too much. But yeah, man down for a week or so.
And I understand you're blaming it on South Bank man flu as well.
It was South Bank man flu, yeah, because I came on the 11th. and did an interview in the freezing cold, and then he got called off, didn't it?
Notts County game, yeah.
Notts County game, wasn't it? So,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll blame it on the fresh air of Grimsby. Yeah.
You should be used to that, mate. Bloody hell.
Yeah, we're wearing them bloody short-sleeved shirts in February, and off that coming off the umber, it was freezing then, wasn't it? That's when men were men.
Did you have any long sleeve things? You know, the armlets.
If there would have been them, I wouldn't have worn them anyway. I don't think I'd been allowed. I don't think Dave Moore allowed me to. Yeah.
Alan.
No.
I don't know about Alan. Yeah.
It should have done as he's told. Yeah, no long sleeve lycra underneath for you, Mark. Eh?
Not really. I think I'd have took it if it was around at that time. Obviously.
Yeah, Dave Moore still trots around in shorts and snowy weather. He's
top man, Dave. I mean, I've got a lot to be thankful of David, and but he's a bit daft, isn't he? I think he does it for sure. Tell him. Yeah.
He's crazy. He's in his
Over the phone, though. Over the phone. I won't say it to his face.
Yeah, in his last season, this season, he's retiring at the end of the season. Is Dave? So
I've seen that on socials. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? But obviously, every good thing comes to an end, doesn't it?
That's it. So you say was Dave ever manager when did he ever do a caretaker manager?
He was my youth team coach.
How was he?
Yeah, he was youth team coach.
Right.
I played a few times with him in the Pontins reserves.
Oh, yeah, the Pontins League. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah. So it was a good league, that tough league. You had the ex-pros from Prem sort of playing, and then playing with young kids. So it was a good learning curve, really. So me and Dave played centre half. So I think he's maybe 10 years older, 8 years older.
Yeah, it's about right. I think he's retirement age this year, so he's.
Oh, is he 60? Yeah, so about 10 years. Don't look it.
No, he's fit as a fiddle. His knees are giving up. I think he's had a knee op recently.
He's got a big factor in my knees being gone, because I used to piggyback him up the Findus. Even though I was like a lad, I was the tall, so he said just to match it up, I'd carry him for some reason. So it's his reason I retired early, basically. That's my story, anyway.
Yeah. So how did you come to traverse over the North Bank to Grimsby then, being a Hull lad? How did that come about?
Beverley lad, wasn't he?
Beverley lad.
Well, I'll tell a story because it sounds real posh to me that I was born in Beverley, but it was.
It does sound posh, that, yeah.
Beverley born Mark Lieber, everybody say, like on the radio side used to say, but no, Mum and Dad was at Beverley Westwood on a day out. Obviously, my mum's heavily pregnant, and anyway, she gave birth to me in an ambulance on Beverley Westwood. Yeah, but no, Bransdome born and bred. Big council estate and in obviously Hull. So I played for Hull Boys all the way through captaindom, and then Hull City, as you do, you want to play for your hometown club. No one will mind me saying that. But there was a thing then at that time that you couldn't play for school or on a Sunday if you signed schoolboy forms. So I just said to my dad, I don't really want to do that. And whether they spat the dummy out a little bit, and then I just thought that was it really, and stayed on at school for a year. Went to there was a tournament in Skegness, and I got spotted there by a Grimsby scout. So came down, had a trial, and Touchwood got a 1 year YT. Yeah.
And the rest is history. And
I think so.
And that would be probably what, 86, 87 sort of.
That was at 87.
Yeah.
87.
87. And you got thrown in quite early, didn't you, as a young lad? Sorry, go on.
Yeah, sorry. No, sorry. Yeah. I played in the February as a stub at Port Vale, I think.
That's the game I remember seeing you for the first time, and I couldn't remember if it was your first game or not.
Yeah, it was, because I think they had Robbie Earle, didn't they? And another striker up front, didn't they?
Yeah.
Bobby Roberts was manager, wasn't he? We went down that year, didn't we? To be fair, I think.
Yeah. Not your fault.
He won't listen to me, obviously. I only played 2 subs appearances, I think, but there was some good lads there, though. Then it was just a bit of a shame, really. Went down.
Yeah. Steve Saunders mentioned that, and he said as a group, and we're going to excuse you as part of that group for that season. Said they really felt they'd let Bobby Roberts down. I think he
was a wonderful man.
He really liked him. He said he was a gent.
He was a great guy, and obviously everybody looks at the manager. Unfortunately, don't they? You can't get rid of 16 players, can you? Then real nice guy, Bobby.
Yeah, and that season, the Port Vale game is the game I remember, because I remember it was freezing cold, old-fashioned terrace, and I remember thinking, who's this guy? And as you say, you were like a lap. You really were
like Bambi on ice.
What was you, 6'2", 6'3", something like that?
Yeah, but I reckon about 11 and a half. Still, didn't they had any scales then? but I think I was only
Every
probably 11 and a half.
skills.
I think I was only about 11 and a half stone, something like that. You know,
Yeah,
what I mean?
you were.
It went around the ears.
You were a big, tall stick, weren't you, at that age? And
Absolutely.
I
Still
remember,
am.
seeing you at the Bundle Park '98 event
Yeah.
last year, and there was a talk about having to throw you in on that game, and it was Arthur Mann who described you as was it a dog on wet lino?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, when I played went to play amateur men before, played for Grimsby sort of thing. Yeah. Played on an icy pitch once, and my mate said I look like Bambi on ice sort of thing. I wasn't really made for icy pitches, to be fair. So it was. You need the most squat character, don't you? A bit like a Macca sort of thing, don't you, on them surfaces?
And I think you're lower centre of gravity. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Bit tiny, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a harsh beginning that, but like I say, you grew into be a tower of strength at the back of the town defence, and in a tough time in the club, there was a lot of change. 87 to 88 was Lord Sir Alan Buckley came in as he now well revered at town, and he put a team together of essentially non-league players who he thought could do him a job. And
that's right.
In '88, it worked it started to work out quite quickly. He had a cup run, and then the league form started to get better. So, and you started to get into that team then.
Yeah, he obviously inherited me because I signed a 2-year deal with Bob Roberts signed me.
Yeah.
So and then he got the sack. So basically, Alan come in with Arthur and then inherited me. Marcus Newell was on a year, I think, and Tommy Watson. Quite some good lads, some good players. And obviously, squads was small. He brought Tills with him, didn't he? And Paul Rees.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
Shortest keeper I've ever seen.
Yeah, great shot stopper though. Magic.
Cracking keeper.
Mad as a bicycle. Great kid. Lives in the States. He's been a goalkeeping coach over there for about 15 years. In fairness,
Oh, brilliant.
I went over about 10 years ago to see him. Nutcase. In a nice way. He's not a serial killer or anything like that. But he's a magic bloke. So yeah. No, probably over there. Yeah. Fair Alan inherited Jobbers, Aggie, Sean Cunnington, Stevie Saunders as well, myself, Tommy Watson, people like that. And I think they had small squads then, and it was a different, obviously all about passing and moving and stuff. So I went in the circle, and I wasn't really made for a circle, passing it in. So I was falling over the ball and stuff like that. And I bet he's thinking, I've got this big lanky streak for 2 years, you know what I mean? Sort of thing. So at early stages, I don't think he was keen, really. No, he wasn't. And probably thinking, probably 18th man out of 18 players, really. But then they didn't start too well. And I think then I played the debut at right back against Torquay at home, 1-0.
Yeah. Really?
God knows why I was right back.
Right.
I couldn't keep it on the park in the middle, so I don't know how much chance I had.
I was talking to Steve earlier about players who are comfortable on the byline, and running out of space doesn't phase them. But
that's right.
You weren't one of those.
No, not at all. I was most obviously the size of me, and obviously heading ability. He was always going to be better in the air, aren't you? And but no, so and then they struggled a bit, and so virtually I was in, and obviously me and Tills are learning on the job basically. I'm 18. Tills is about 22, I think, but he's come from non-league. He was a market gardener, Andy, and so he was green as grass, really, and we both just had to learn on the job, basically.
So he was a classy player. He sort of settled down quite quickly, and he was quite a classy centre half, wasn't he? And somebody good to play alongside.
Lovely player, but he could head the ball as well. And I think that styles win fights, make fights, done it in boxing terminology. So me and him quite worked well together, like, you know what I mean? I was probably obviously head and kick it sort of, but better than that, but that sort of merchant, and he was
you were more than that, I thought, anyway.
No, I agree, but it's not, you're not everybody's cup of tea, are you, when for some reason. I mean, nowadays there's not many about, is there? In fairness.
No.
But I still think it's lacking in the game, if I'm honest. It's a bit too nicey at the back, in it, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he has to defend at the end of the day.
Yeah, I was trying to find out what you were described as, and so in one news article, I think it was when you signed for Mansfield towards the end of your career, and it said an
Right.
old-fashioned centre half who bullies strikers.
Yeah, well, I don't know about bullies. I ain't got a bully in me, but competitive, I'd suggest. But no, it's as I say, but like say, I'm sure we'll mention Peter further on, and obviously Futch and stuff like that. So it's about a bit of balance in it and getting the right sort of ingredients is the word, isn't it? I think.
I think
Definitely,
Steve had a question for you about that, about partnership.
Go on, Steve.
Well, I was just going to. Who was your favourite defensive partner that you played
Well,
with?
I think it is Tills really, because we both started at the same sort of time, and I believe that when he went to QPR, he wanted us both Jerry Francis sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think if I'd have gone to London when I was 19, I think I'd have been dead now. To be fair, I mean, Andy was settled down then. Him and his lass got together really young and stayed together now. You know what I mean? So
he grew
he'd
up
have
quick.
had,
He grew up quick.
he'd have had Kelly. Yeah, he'd have had that sort of influence there, and I'd be some daft lad from Hull. It was some round string fellas or something like that sort of thing. So,
do you still keep in contact with Andy?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we've been me and Tony Rees because Andy's in Bath and Tony's in Merthyr Tydfil. So I said, me and the wife are going to go up at some point. We're just nailing it that weekend sort of thing.
Yeah.
But we're definitely keep in touch with Tony and them first set of lads. You know, the promotion, first two promotions, was really, really, really close. To be fair. Yeah.
Do you keep giving Tony Rees some dates and he keeps back healing them, does he?
Oh, he does. Hey, very, very. Hey, I'm not sure you're not demeaning, but very underrated player, Tony.
I tell you what, the amount of back heels. When he started doing back heels, I thought, what was he doing? But the amount of goals that he created or chances he created, back heels.
Well, I just got this vision now. You can see Charlesy or Dave Gilbert or Tommy maybe just playing it into him, holding it up, back heeling him into. You know what I mean? Lovely football, wasn't it?
That was fantastic. We didn't appreciate how good it was.
No, I don't think we did. When it, as Steve says, when it first started, you're thinking, "What's this? What's he doing?" And then
back heeling it again. You know what he's going to do, but it was effective because nobody else.
Once we knew, no one else did.
When it's done at a bit of pace, it's hard, isn't it? It's all right watching it in slow motion, but when it's like actually done it with Charlesy and Dave was great players, Dave Gilbert.
Well, like now, there's so much analysis on players and what they're going to do, and you sort of know. But then back then, you didn't know what he was going to do. Nobody, we knew what he was going to do, but the other players, other teams probably didn't.
Yeah, and you could tell.
No, but so old now, and as I say, it's a long time ago now. Is it 88? So then we go the cup run in 88, didn't we? 89.
Yeah.
And then we get promoted the following year, and then the following year after that. Is that right?
Yeah.
I've edited too many balls, so I can't remember everything as it worked out. But I remember being there, but I don't know what the dates are.
I haven't, and I'm the same, so you're all right, I think.
Okay.
I can remember it all.
So go, Steve.
No, I was just saying that those years were just fantastic. My dad he's been going. He's 88 now. He's been going since 1936. Watching town. He hasn't been very well this last year, so he's not been going. But he even says that team was probably one of the best teams that he's seen in the Buckley.
He's seen some good teams, hasn't he? Like
in the 50s. In the 50s, he said there was some really cracking teams, but he said that those days, Buckley days, he remembers them, really fondly. And he's 88.
Bless him, Mick. We've got him targeted on a return for the Fleetwood home game, haven't we?
Fleetwood home game, yeah. I'm going to wheel him in.
A fitness test in the morning.
He's not playing though, is he? He's not playing though, is he?
Well, he gets warmed up in the second half. He's got an aisle seat so he can stretch his legs out, ready to come on.
That's good.
But yeah, he's chomping at the. He's chomping at the bit to get back to the game.
We're him down to all the playoff games when we come out the National League. The mega playoffs we got through.
Wrexham.
Yeah, we dragged him down to all them games, didn't we?
He said he's never been through games like that in his life. And I thought he was going to have a blooming heart attack.
Yeah, that was the first game, and I think I talked to Dave just after that. Actually, during COVID, wasn't it? Just after, wasn't it? And,
yeah.
I mean, got me back in because you could watch it, couldn't you, on your don't say dodgy, but your Fire Stick.
On your stick.
I remember watching that game, and it was just mental on it. I mean, for the neutrals, it was a great game. I think for the managers defensively, they wouldn't have been overly impressed with the defending of long throws and corners and stuff like that.
Yeah, we had Adam Somerton on, who was the commentator for that game for BT Sports. He came on to for us and we did an half-hour interview with him, and he said he was exhausted at the end of the game. He said he was absolutely knackered.
And he's a commentator. I'm just going to plug in because I don't charge out.
I'm pleased up to that. I think anybody who loves football to see that match would have loved it. But we were exhausted at the end of that.
You were aged about 5 years watching.
Exactly. Yeah. And we've aged, and as if Grimsby Town, watching Grimsby Town hadn't aged us enough. But never mind.
We won't swap it for the world.
No. So while we're on the 88 crowd, we had Steve Saunders on earlier in our tenure in our podcasts, and he mentioned you setting him up for the photo shoot for the Eddie the Eagle thing for the paper, and he didn't realise it was for the paper, and he said you all put 10 quid in and got him to do the Eddie Eagle thing for some sort of picture to go in the programme charity, and he said he'd do it if you all put a tenner in. And then he says, you're in town one day before the Reading game, the cup match. And he says...
Not the fourth round, was it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and you're all laughing, you and whoever else was in town with him. And there's a few people down the street shouting, Eddie, Eddie. And he's going, what are they on about? Next thing, he's got a full back page of him dressed up with his mops and his thing on his head. So was that your brainchild, or was it part of a collective...
I couldn't possibly say, Steve. That is, what is that? So it's 38 years ago, innit? And I was young. I was very daft. And I wouldn't doubt that I did do it, but I can't say for certain. But there'll have been Northey as well, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
He'll have been there, and Jobbers, Aggie, all them, the drinking squad. Yeah.
The drinking squad.
Yeah, Northey.
Was Gallimore there then when you was?
He wasn't there at 87. He was in the drinking squad in the 97, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, no, he wasn't there, but was he? He wasn't there.
So when Gallimore joined the club, then he came into the drinking club.
On his first day, he came actually, and he came. Did we come from Carlisle? Did he?
Yeah, he joined the drinking club first, then joined town.
He came in and went, "Oh, this is all right."
He's from Stoke, isn't he? Bless him. There you go. Great, very, very good player, Gally. Excellent player.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
And a great lad. Just a bit like the majority of us in them days, a bit just daft. And he came and he met us in Cleethorpes actually. And the day Wednesday was our day out. You know, plenty of time before the weekend, so you could go out on a Wednesday. It was our day off, and had a few beers. And he met us and he went, "Do you know what my name was at Carlisle? Gallenmore, because I can drink everybody under the table." And anyways, I think he was in bed for 8. You know what I mean? we put him to bed straight away, did Gally.
So always the ones that shout the loudest.
Yeah, you're best off keeping quiet, can't you? Really?
Yeah. So in the 80s, I'd say I also reminded Eddie, Steve, that in researching that game, I could have sworn he'd scored. When I found it, it was Northey that scored, and I found it, again against Reading in the home cup match. And
the home one. Yeah. The home one. Was it 1-8?
Yeah, he scored an own goal, and I hadn't realised. I'm talking to him about.
Oh, Steve did.
Sure, you scored. He said it's an own goal.
Yeah. Who scored there? Was it Jobbers and Sean Cunnington?
Yes, that was a brilliant
night.
The nights like that stick out still.
Yeah, they do. Really, really, really massively. And the Ayson Park win, obviously.
Yeah.
And you look back then, I'm 18 then.
Yeah,
it's like it's madness. I was nearly 19 in March, but and they had like Pallister, Mowbray, didn't they? Bernie Slade, and there was a good side, wasn't they?
Oh yeah, really good.
Northey came on, didn't he, and changed the game, didn't he?
He had a lot of groin problems and pelvic sort of problems.
I mean, he was quick and he came from. Did we get him from Luton or something like that?
Yes.
And it was all like sovereign rings and that proper South. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was always up there, JDs and all them sort of haunts.
Yeah.
But larger than life character, but really good player like Mark.
Yeah,
good player.
Steve Saunders said he said he often said to Mark, "You need to slow down, Mark. You need to calm down. He's the older, wiser head." And he said, but he was a smashing lad. And
well, he was. Went too early, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely sad. That game though, Ayson Park, fantastic, and then the Reading game after the home game, you're thinking, tough away game. the atmosphere that night was fantastic. And I always remember jobbers
We took
round.
we took a lot there that night, didn't we, Dave? I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
I
it
remember.
must have been 2,000 or 3,000.
Quite open spaces, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
massive
so-
open end. And Sean Cunnington scored. Then they equalised. It was Steve Moran who used to play for Southampton. He
Yeah,
scored.
I think Trevor was up front as well, wasn't he?
He was, yeah, and he was a hell of a striker. He would give you a tough night, wouldn't he? And then I remember jobbers rounding the keeper. And all the town fans behind the goal waiting for him to put it in the net. And everybody's just bobbing up and down.
Like bated breath.
Put it in, yeah. No, so and then Wimbledon, the Wimbledon away game, the Crazy Gang. You must have some stories about that match.
Oh, I mean, being till, because obviously then you didn't have like loads of staff, backroom staff, so you didn't have like a scientist or, you know what I mean?
No.
So you only had basically new kids in the side carried the kit skip really, which was me and Andy Tilson, the two starting centre halves. So I remember, and obviously Plough Lane was like narrow, got off the bus carrying the boot skip, and we went in a little corridor at Plough Lane, and Fashy's there with his top off, all oiled up. And I looked at Tils's face, and he's like white. You know what I mean? He wasn't scared, but he'd just never seen out like that before. You know, and obviously these are like superstars, aren't they? At the time, you know,
yeah.
superstar. But he was. Everybody knew him, didn't they? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I remember like looking at him, and I went, "Come on, Tils." Anyway, just and then you obviously half time 1-0 up, weren't we?
Yeah.
I think it was just the pitch was horrendous that day, wasn't it, as well? And
it was. Yeah.
I think just a fitness, but they had some good players, didn't they, Wimbledon? Then I don't think it was 3-1, was it? 3-1 in the end.
Dennis Wise, we had goals disallowed as well, and I mean, Big Keith.
Well, just seeing them, the obviously the thousands behind the goal with they're not addicts, are they? But apparently,
No, they are. They're not addicts, but they're addicts.
Yeah, that's right. But no, just unbelievable. It's surreal that you can go like from being a YT or even amateur football at 17, then like 8, nearly 9 seed, and you're playing in the 5th round of the FA Cup at.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is. It's like it's just what dreams are made of, isn't it? Really, and that's why most people wanted to be footballers, didn't you, when you're growing up, sort of thing. And,
definitely.
Not to be a multimillionaire or rich. It was just to be, and not many people do it, do they? So they're very lucky.
Yeah, exactly. And they went on to win it that year, didn't they? Wimbledon.
Was it that year?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
Was it 89?
Was 88, wasn't it?
It was 89 though.
Were they the holders then?
89, wasn't it?
Were they the
It was
holders?
the year before, wasn't it? I think.
All right, they were the holders then.
Yeah.
No, it was a great day. I mean, there's some great days in defeat, even following a team like Town when you get a day like that. And there was the hope as well when Big Keith scored early on.
And it was Cockers took the corner, wasn't it? Near post.
That's right.
But then there was a couple of like in the League Cup, weren't they? The Tottenham at home when we played really, really well. We lost 3-0, but we played really well the first half.
Yeah. When Lineker
scored on that. Yeah, scored on that. Lineker got, I mean, he was a bit of an hero man at the time. He didn't do well, but scored.
He did nothing that game.
Coming over and he just stuck his toe out and he just bobbled in the bottom corner, sort of thing. I think Gordon Jory got a couple, I think.
Gordon Jory got a couple, Yeah, I remember seeing it went down to Bradley Pitches to watch them. They were training down there. And there was Gary Mabbott and Gordon Jury and Lineker. Lineker didn't do anything in training either. He just stood there on the sideline and just not, I don't know if he was injured or what. I was all waiting for Gaza to come off the.
He wasn't bad for England though, was he?
Oh yeah, no, he wasn't bad for England.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gaza never saw Gaza. He was at Tottenham then. I don't know where he was.
Was he there? He didn't play.
He was there. Yeah, he was at Tottenham at that time. Yeah, before he went to Lazio, I think.
Yeah, there was Paul Stewart, wasn't they?
Paul Stewart, yeah, he was a good player.
Yeah.
And then Villa we beat them, didn't we? Over 2 legs, we beat Villa.
That
over 2 legs.
That was another great night.
Yeah.
It's weird going to see a 1-1 draw, but winning away. It's. That was,
did we draw nil each at home, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then Cunnington got through for a one-on-one with the keeper and got brought down for a penalty, didn't he? And
did he score? Didn't he?
The penalty away, yeah.
Steve Sherwood was immense that night, I think.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Going back to that Spurs game though, 3-0. I mean, Dave Gilbert that night he turned Pat Van Den Houw?
Yeah, from Everton. Yeah.
He gave him a right game. I just remember
a lot of people did. I mean, hard to handle was David.
He was so fantastic that night. I remember my dad saying that. So that's one of the best he's seen, a winger. Like, just he didn't know which way he was going to go next. Like, did he?
He just had a loss. Really, obviously, he was very small, wasn't he,
Oh,
David?
yeah, he
Lost
just
in gravity, but wonderful left foot.
tricky player. He was.
Yeah, he could have crack a free kick and all. He was.
Oh, he could. Yeah, he could.
Yeah, so yeah, good team to be in, and that was
Good memories. Good memories for me. That team.
Absolutely, and a lot of what Alan Buckley brought together as a team that could play football together, and I guess that would have, did you feel like your football was brought on? You became a better footballer.
Of course you do. In training every day. I mean, I'm never going to become Cruyff or anything like that, but you obviously get better technically. Obviously, do things simple. Really, do you know what I mean? Pass it to people who can play. Really, that's what you do, and then you doing the horrible stuff, aren't you? Blocking things and stuff like that. So it's all about getting the right pieces into like a jigsaw, isn't it? To be a bit cliche, but and there was no like really playing from the back. Really, I know that Futch did and Peter did to an extent, but we used to start off without fullbacks, then to the wingers, didn't we? You know, that was your way out, sort of thing, quickly that way. So. Obviously, Macca, Aggie, Crofty, them sort of players would start the attacks off.
But nowadays, your wingers got forward quicker, I think, and you went on the attack. Whereas nowadays, they seem to get to the halfway line, pass it around again, go backwards again, and there's a bit.
Don't get me started on that. I find it very, very difficult to watch football now, certainly in the top level. You know,
I watched the game yesterday, Man City, and it bored me to tears.
Well, even though there were 6 goals, though, weren't they? But
the game. I'm pleased Arsenal won. I'm not honest, but the Man City pass. It's like put it in the box.
Yeah, I don't understand what they call them, inverted wingers. You know what I mean? So.
I like the good old fashioned. Like we had a guy, Steve remember before your time, but Paul Empson. Can you remember Paul Empson, Steve?
That's why 85, is it? Something like that, because then was Paul Wilkinson after that.
Yes.
Emo, I know they are, obviously.
Yeah, signing from Derby, and he was like, he was stick thin, but in a
proper stick thin.
Yeah, proper.
Did he catch pigeons today? Was he quick?
Yeah, he was
he was quick. Yeah, he was a deceptive player. Emo, wasn't he?
Great ball in the box, and he could finish as well. And I always remember, the excitement of him getting the ball go down the wing. You don't tend to get that now when somebody gets the ball on the wing. You're just thinking they're going to put the foot on it and go inside or whatever.
Well, gets them off the seats, doesn't it, with wingers?
Yeah,
I mean,
to
be fair, it kept people like me in the game, really. I mean, now they don't put balls in the box so much, do they? So I'd have been a bit defunct, if I'm honest. So
ball in the box for somebody like a Billy Whitehurst or something like that.
Yeah, people of that sort of thing. I'd rather play against a big one than a little one who's going to run you in the channels, sort of thing.
I can remember you, Mark. I mean, I've seen clips of heading the ball, balls coming into the box constantly, and you're just knocking them back out again.
Yeah, that's what I must have. What day is it today? That's why I don't know what day it is today. No, I think this. Yeah, I mean, I miss. That's one thing I do miss about football is heading the ball. Because if you get it on the sweet spot. I wasn't as good enough in the opposing box, really, for my ability in the air. I didn't get enough goals, really.
What's the highest league you played in, Mark? Was it league?
I played the Championship for about... Well, was it League One?
The one below the top league. Yeah.
Premiership, one below the Premiership.
And, the crowd, the crowds we got then was like used to get 4,000.
I love the town fans, and the away fans were brilliant. But like most sets of supporters, they want a winning side. And in the Championship, or whatever, the second tier, you're not going to be winning every week, are you, with the budget that Grimsby's got? But I remember some games where it was like 18th in the league, and you're getting 4,500 at home.
Yeah.
And you look now, don't you? Maybe getting 6, and you're in League 2.
6.5, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So I think it was a bit undervalued at the time, maybe. And I'm not spitting out sulking. It was just maybe I look at it now and I think, was there really 4,500 there? You know what I mean?
So, maybe about it. It's definite. I think now the crowds are driven by the sort of new optimism with the new owners and everybody's pulling together, and I think that's driving a bit of optimism. But even that's been tested of late, hasn't it, Steve?
Yeah. I mean, Oh, some of the games we've seen, that Gillingham game, the last game was terrible, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
we
I
managed to not Gillingham. Yeah, Gillingham. We
Yeah.
managed to get a draw out of it, didn't we? But
I think obviously, I mean, I've looked from afar with who's in charge of the club and stuff like that. I mean, it was Bill Carr, Pete Fairnow before Bill.
Yeah.
You had relationships with them, not relationships, but I could go and have a beer with, you know what I mean? Things like that.
Yeah.
It was approachable. And then obviously, I wasn't there, but obviously Fenty, people like that, weren't they? There was a bit of a bit of grumblings, weren't they?
Yeah,
So,
a lot of grumbles. And I think one of the things that has been left is that it was kind of do and manage with everything in that era, and you know, the new guys come in have had to fix a lot of that, and so you know it's not all been team. It's you know the grounds need a lot of work, and you know they're doing the best, and you know we're definitely improving. But yeah,
Rome wasn't built in the day, was it?
No. Fast forward in a bit of time, early 90s, like you say, you had a good side in that top end, and then in League One, and then we slipped down again. But 98 sort of springs to mind as a real sort of high in getting to Wembley for the first time, and before that, the Fulham game at home for the semi-final to get to Wembley for the playoffs was a cracking night at Blundell Park, 9,000 odd in, which in the all-seater era is packed. And great game.
That's in the top 5 of my games for town, as in just it was bouncing that night. Obviously, there was the money spinners, weren't they? The superstars, weren't they? Everybody expected Fulham to get promoted. And it was we're not fortunate because I got took out at their place. Paul Moody got sent off, didn't he?
I remember that tackle, yeah.
Yeah, and I got carried off, and then I was touch and go whether I was all right Tuesday, but there's only a few gouges down my shin.
My leg was only hanging off. I'm playing.
Yeah, and then obviously Pete Pescalino took Peter out, didn't he?
He did,
yeah. I think he just got him overly pumped up for that game.
Strange on that.
But I said to Pete when I went over, I went, stay down, you know what I mean? Just don't you be getting up. I don't like people diving at all, but I just said to him, stay down until I get the best thing.
There's no way that, I mean, there was players crowding the ref there, and was it Brevet came running over?
Yeah, Brevet,
he was playing hell and thinking, you will, you know,
it was a terrible tackle, wasn't it?
Challenge, no question.
One of the worst ones I've seen, to be honest. I remember it.
But I remember that night they had obviously Coleman and a few big centre halves, didn't they? And they kept pumping loads of crosses in. And in fairness, we love that.
Yeah.
So a bit like Northampton at Wembley, they just kept putting it on to me, sort of thing. So me and Peter and the goalkeeper, the back 5 with Adi in goal. Sorry I know that'll come further, won't it, later on? But,
and say that was a great night, and. Probably highlight of the night, other than the goal, was the lever knee slide. For the celebration.
It was more of a proper dive, wasn't it? To be fair,
I was quite outside on your knees, and then and the sprint to get there. I mean, it was just.
I could cover the ground, you know. Then I'm not 50. I was 27 and picking my powers then, so it was. I was all right over 50. I was all right over 50 yards. Yeah, not over 10 yards.
You were gambling on there being not long left as well, I think.
I think it seemed to go on forever though, a bit like the Exeter game, just to go back. Remember that 14,000 there?
Yeah.
And that was a nail biter on it that day.
Yeah.
That was a cracking game as well. And then
another great game that. Bringing back memories.
Yeah, that was. I remember the memory from that game is Cocker's 2 goals. I mean, and the place was absolutely rammed on it again.
He holds the line together so well. Futcher must be offside. He's not offside. Cockerill scores for Grimsby. Teasing up again. Here it comes. It must be Cockerill. He's got a second. Just rewards for Grimsby Town. Their persistence pays off. And surely now Division 2 is beckoning for the Mariners. Excellent play. Rees held it up, turned back here, and John Cockerill strikes for the second time.
Yeah, then Sean Taylor scored for them, I think. I'm not sure if I was supposed to be marking him, I think.
No, you won't. No, you won't.
No, but it was it was some. I think there was about 50, probably no extra time whatsoever, but it seemed about 10 minutes over time in that game, didn't they? I think.
And then it was just bedlam at the end, and I say well deserved promotion. In that season, did we get knocked out by the League Cup by Coventry? And
Sonny Rees got sent off, didn't he? After
2 or
3 minutes of their place.
We beat them at our place, haven't we? 3-1. Bertel scored a fantastic goal at one end, and then,
we lost 3-0 at their place because Tony got. I think it was about 5 minutes he got sent off. Greg Downs, wasn't it? I remember things like that, but I can't remember what I did yesterday.
And the other thing that town fans will kind of smart about in that game is Kevin Drinkle was playing his first game for Coventry, and he was a hell of a player for scored an overhead kick. I'm thinking, shit.
I was at that game. I remember that. Yeah,
there was quite a bit of trouble one day, I think.
Yeah,
we had to get out quick.
West Midlands Police were horrific at dealing with away fans. In any case, it had a terrible reputation for dealing with fans. And of course,
I remember being on the coach for that game, and they had to keep the door shut of the coach to stop the Coventry fans coming on and just get out. It was just
it was
frightening.
Yeah, a bit moody. Yeah,
Coventry fans can be nutters.
Yeah, and then
I think every club's got a few of them, haven't they?
Oh,
I think
always the case, isn't it? And then we covered the Fulham game, but Wembley, twice in a 6-week period. A lot of players never get there. How was that? As a
yeah, it was a magnificent feat, wasn't it? And I've always been of the mindset before that you shouldn't really play at Wembley unless it's a cup final, a FA Cup final, or an international. Yeah. So I was obviously you're not going to turn down the chance to play there. To do it twice in 6 weeks was obviously a thing of dreams, really. And
to win both times.
Yeah, I remember in the first game, the first half was terrible. All of us, and we got in at half. I always struggled with nerves all the way through my career.
Yeah.
I was always spewed up before games. Not alcohol, just naturally. It was like a common thing. The lads used to take the mickey, just before you go out, just spew up in the toilet, sort of thing. But it was all just a bit flat that day, and it was the experience, obviously, at Wembley. Bit overawed, really, and then got us in at half time and just said, listen, all of us together, we just said, we need to wake up here. And I think it was a different side in the second half. And obviously got the first golden goal, wasn't it? Is that right?
Yeah. Golden goal to win the final.
First ever goal. First and last, was it?
I don't think it was ever replicated, was it? I don't think.
No. Many, has there?
They brought in the silver goal as well at some point, didn't they? That was to do with scoring in extra time, the first period in extra time.
Yeah.
They need to leave the game alone.
Yeah, golden goals, silver goals.
It was exciting though. If we'd have lost like that,
it was. I remember when he scored it, I was like, "Oh God, that's it."
What do we do here? Yeah, the game's gone and finished, hasn't it? We was thinking that because it was new to us, and was thinking, "Is there? So we're still playing?" You know what I mean?
What do you think? Yeah,
they think it's all over. It is now.
But then, how many was there that day? Can you remember? I don't know what the official attendance was.
60,000, I think.
60 odds, yeah, 65, something like that.
But obviously that experience put us in good stead for obviously the playoff final, which was the more important one, really.
I said on that Autumn Windscreens game, it's just a good day out this. If we win, we win. It's great. When I got there, I was like, we've got to win. We've got to win.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was pleasing from my perspective that it was in the old stadium as well.
Yeah.
You know, we've grew up watching England and whatever, and I've been to Wembley Challenge Cup final, Dave. You know, watched Rovers in '85. So it was a big. I mean, obviously national anthem and all that sort of stuff. A bit emotive, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, I got emotional when it all came out. I think it was some Oasis track was on. It came out the tunnel, and I'm like nearly filling up, and I'm thinking, Christ, it's a football match. Get over yourself. But
imagine what I was feeling. I've been sick about times before.
Where's the bucket? Yeah.
No wonder I was skinny, being sick all the time. I think I believe me. I think.
Yeah. You don't. It's funny you talking to players after the careers are finished, and the fact that you don't talk to them over the career generally is you don't understand what you're going through. You just they're players. They're doing what they do. You know, you don't think about players like yourself being nervous before a game.
I was thinking about that today actually, and just not about being nervous and stuff like that, but just you're just a normal person, aren't you? Doing you scrutinise that. Yeah. I mean, we was quite lucky that there was no real mobile phones then, no cameras. I mean, we could still go out and have a beer and go in Cleethorpes on a Saturday night, come back from the game and go out, and you might get the odd bit of stick, but you just laugh it off, wouldn't you?
Well, the stories are word of mouth, aren't there? I mean, I think Steve saw you in the swashbuckle one night.
I saw you in the swashbuckle one night. Yeah, on
Was
the
I stood
dance.
up?
He was on the dance floor. Some bird.
Oh, I don't know about that. But no, I was like dog on land. I did like the tune, throw some shapes, to be fair, for a big lad. And we love a night. It was just a different generation, and they're a bit, unfortunately, players are a bit robotic now, aren't they? Because they have to be, because of social media and the media trained, and don't slip up and stuff like that. And
they've all got their own masseurs and their own everything, isn't it? Pampered.
Exactly. Yeah.
Different
absolutely.
game.
So coming back to the games, toughest opponent. Who's your toughest games against?
Mark Hughes, actually, when he was at Chelsea, and he was at the back end of his career as well. It was that first game we should have, when Macca missed that Gary Glitter, didn't he, at the far post, remember?
We don't call him that anymore, Mark.
Yeah. What?
Sitter.
What, Sitter? No,
Gary
he's a
Glitter,
Sitter.
We don't talk about him anymore.
Oh, sorry. It's an easy thing.
I'm only kidding.
Podcast.
What was that? I missed that. Gary Glitter.
Sitter, Mr. Sitter.
Mr. Sitter Macca, didn't he, remember, against Chelsea?
It's like that. We don't mention Rolf Harris. We don't mention Stuart Hall. We don't.
Sorry about that. But,
we don't mention Jimmy Savile either.
You just mentioned all three of them. I only mentioned.
Yeah, exactly.
I was only kidding you.
I don't know who you're talking about, Dave. Get a grip.
But I remember we should have won that night, shouldn't we? It was frozen that night, actually. Park won it 0-0. Rude Ulrich didn't fancy it, did he?
No.
Rude Ulrich, no,
Can
he
you
didn't
do it
fancy
on a Tuesday night in Grimsby now?
I went to the replay.
Mark Hughes was suspended. He was suspended for the first game, I think. He played Paul Fairlawn and John Spencer up front, which was good players, obviously, but not really, not Mark Hughes. And I remember it was when Chelsea was getting done up, wasn't it? The ground was getting flattened, wasn't it? And I think Grovesy scored, didn't he? But
Grovesy scored, yeah.
We got beat 4-1, didn't we? And I'm just trying to nick it off him, and he's just so strong.
He got two goals that night, if I remember.
Did he?
Hughes, yeah.
Everything went through him. I think
he was.
Scored, I think Michael Juby scored, I think, in it. You don't know. There's played that many games that they all roll into one.
I can remember that night at Chelsea. Ruud Gullit came on. Was he player manager then?
I think he was.
Yeah, he came on and nobody would pass to him. He came on, he was just waving his arms. He was like, "Give it to I'm the manager." Like almost like I'm the manager. I'm playing. And they never passed to him. It just went through Hughes and the rest of them.
He was a wonderful player, but I don't think he was the most liked man, was he? I don't think. And when he went to Newcastle, I think he tried to reinvent the wheel. He tried to force Shearer out, didn't he, and stuff like that. And you don't really try and force Alan Shearer out, do you? Really, I don't think.
Not really, no.
Not Newcastle.
Give me the elbow.
Yeah, so to have been on the pitch with players like that, it must have been some sort of thrill you must get out of that to be on the pitch with.
It's surreal, really, because you've been watching them say '86 World Cup and stuff like that, and then Lidicker's and people like this, and then you're playing.
You're on the same pitch as them, yeah.
I mean, Cyril Regis, he was at Villa then. Some good, really lucky because you got some good cup draws then, didn't you?
Yeah, and they're the days when they used to play the proper teams as well in that era.
Yeah, they didn't devalue the competition, did they? They actually respected.
They could play 60 games a season, not like now. If you play more than 38 games, they're going, "I'm tired."
We sound really old on this podcast, don't we?
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. I agree with you 100% what you said, because I'm frustrated as anyone with the way the game's gone, I'm afraid.
Yeah, as I said to Steve on a previous podcast, we are a podcast for old farts, as well as the
not that old.
There's nothing wrong with farts.
No, we've still got a
might be old, but not a fart.
good games in us yet. Yeah, so you mentioned your 5 top games. I think we've probably covered a couple of them. What were your other ones that you that we may not have thought of?
Well, I only had 5 good games anyway, so it was.
You had more games than that, but good games than that.
But no, I think the Fulham game was there. The Exeter game.
Yeah.
I think we beat the Southend game. Remember when we get promoted on a Friday night away? We were beaten 2-0.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was in the early days.
Did Andy Tilson score that?
I don't know. I
Or
don't know.
am I mixing up? But they had a striker called Steve Tilson. I might be, but he didn't score. But
I remember taking loads on a Friday night there, though. That night,
I was there that night. I remember it well.
I understand, yeah.
Yeah,
But as I say, we've had some really good games and some really bad ones, where the bad ones tend to stick out in your mind more than the thing is, because you scrutinise yourself more than anybody, really. And I remember me and Graham Rodger playing centre half at Palace one night, and we was a bit too same, about styles, make fights. Me and Graham was probably a little bit too alike, a bit, mobility-wise, and I think they had Dougie Freeman and Clinton Morrison that night. Big, and the pitch seemed about 5 times bigger than it normally is. And we got a bit of a chasing, I think, that night, me and Grezza. Well, the team did. It wasn't just obviously the two centre halves, but we got a bit isolated. Yeah.
I remember an away trip to Lake Orient. We got beat 5-0, and
Kevin Campbell, rest his soul, on loan. Yeah. I was playing there. I was playing then as well. Yeah, terrorised me.
I remember Aggie scoring an own goal. And me and my mate, we looked at each other and went, "It's a good job we got to go to the pub before the game, because this is terrible."
It was, I remember that day vividly. Yeah. We was like, and there's a picture, I think, of him probably getting his third Kevin. And he's another one left us, unfortunately, hasn't he? Yeah. But there's a picture of him. But even then, he was like, I think he was maybe 20. Yeah. And he was just built like an heavyweight, middleweight boxer then, but quick and powerful. And there's this neat little skinny Screech next to him, sort of thing. in his slipstream, going like. And Buckhall have abused me after the game. Yeah.
So we covered off the players you've found tough opponents. You mentioned Mark Hughes. Am I right that you're a bit of a Man United fan yourself?
Yeah, my dad's a United fan, obviously with Bestie and all that. But I look at the results and they're not great, are they? But I don't go to. I don't go to games, so I'm not a supporter. You know what I mean? But I do. I do watch them when they're on. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's. Is there any more questions, Steve? You've got?
I was just going, what's the best player you've ever played with? Striker. Yeah, any player.
It's like, I don't like to do it sometimes because it's quite disrespectful, isn't it? I mean, over a short period, obviously we had Gary, didn't we, Bertels, and I remember did he get 3 goals on his against Coventry, didn't he, when he played up front?
He got a hat trick against
Wrexham.
Was it against Rob?
Exeter.
Wrexham.
Was it?
Wrexham. Sorry, Wrexham.
Wrexham,
Yeah, Wrexham. Yeah, that's it.
Last game of the season or last home game of the season.
That was the best 3 goals. All great goals.
Well, he also played centre half with me as well for about 15 games. Yeah.
Did he? All right.
Yeah.
And you don't see that happening nowadays. They don't convert to. So what was it? It was easy for him, wasn't it? He just read the game.
Because I played with Livo as well. I played with lots of people, really. Livo for about 20 games as well. Thing is, there was centre forwards, weren't there? So they knew actually where centre forwards wanted to go. Yeah. So they probably read it as well as maybe a centre half as well. But obviously a bit static, me and Livo and me and Gary running wise. I mean, I did like most of the running with like Futch and stuff like that.
What about Futch's reading of the game?
Beautiful player. I mean, we got him for 10 grand, didn't we, from Halifax?
Halifax Reserves.
10 grand.
Why was he not making Halifax's team? He's unbelievable, isn't it?
You couldn't. I wouldn't know. But wonderful. I mean, just like a bit Hoddle-esque, wasn't he?
Yeah. I remember me and my mate. But I think one time he just got the ball, took it down, turned the striker, made him look daft, probably sat him down. Me and mate just turned to each other and started laughing. He was just that good. And, like I say, another one.
Yeah, it was Paul there 2 years, maybe, I think, and then he went halfway through the season, didn't he? Yeah. So don't know quite what happened then.
Danny Murphy's uncle. I didn't know.
Yeah, they are related, aren't they?
Yeah. I didn't know until the Brighton quarter final the other week the last year or so. And he was on telly, and they were saying, "Oh, you've got a link to Grimsby."
It was the Brighton game, yeah.
Yeah, and that's when I found out.
Was Ben Futcher Paul's lad then? Was that his lad?
I don't know.
Yes, I think yeah. I showed my age here now. I can remember seeing Paul Futcher playing with his brother Ron Futcher.
Yes, his twin, isn't it?
Yeah.
Played twin for Man City.
Yeah, Ron played up front, didn't he? Was he centre
Yeah.
forward?
Was, yeah.
And,
Yeah, 'cause me and my dad went to see a few games, Man City games, and around that area.
Yeah.
And,
I remember seeing him in a Luton top at some stage. Was he as a
Yeah,
kid?
he was. Yeah.
Yeah, Luton. Yeah, wonderful player. Yeah, as was Peter. But I think it was more of a team. Grimsby, what I remember.
Yeah.
We weren't individuals really. It was more of a collective.
It was,
and
yeah.
Some really good players that never get mentioned, like Jimmy Dobbin and people like that, who probably got not by the supporters, but maybe from inside the club. But as an excellent Jim, like technical, a bit nasty, good player. Yeah, we all remember Newcastle away, don't we?
Yeah,
Newcastle
that's
away.
the one
Yeah.
I was going to say. That's the one too. I'll probably
Yeah, that's in the top 5 as well. Yeah, because they was flying out, weren't they?
Yeah, they were, and it was last minute, wasn't it? No chance to come back.
Another clean sheet.
Actually,
you know what I mean?
not only were they flying, that was their chance to go. I think it was 11 straight wins at the start of the season, or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Or unbeaten.
Yeah, was it?
Unbeaten.
You played that game, Mark.
Pardon?
Was you in that game? Yeah.
I was. Yeah.
You man of the match. Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought so. I'd give it Jimmy D. To be
Just
fair,
for the goal.
we don't like to promote ourselves and praise ourselves centre halves. We're a bit more let other people talk about it, you know. But I mean, remember Bucko shouting on to keep it in the corner to Jimmy, and then he went, "What corner? Top corner," and just obviously smashed it.
That's the way to
I
do
remember
it.
them Tam fans in that corner, wasn't it? High up, wasn't it?
Yes.
The Tam fans that day.
Yeah.
And same, that's got a vision I've got at Ayresome Park that night as well. It was in like when fences there, wasn't
Yes.
they?
Oh,
Yeah.
You know, with the trouble and all that.
Yeah.
Just rammed, and I think fair play travelling on a Tuesday night to Ayresome Park. Was it a Tuesday night? Or was it a Saturday?
It was Saturday. Cup third
Saturday.
round.
It was a Saturday.
Yeah.
That's when it was dark when it winter.
Yeah, that was when the Cup third round was actually played on a Saturday at 3:00. Yeah. Again.
I've got this thing. Was it January the 3rd? Something like that.
Yeah, it was.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, to be fair, we've been really involved in a lot of good times.
Brilliant times.
Great memories.
Right.
Brilliant socially as well. It was a great time.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
proper set of down to earth lads, really, and you drank together and you played together.
And you were quite a sort of well liked member of that team, and kept a good dressing room, didn't you?
Yeah, it's massive in sport, the dressing room is, because I mean, Alan was obviously brilliant work ethic and got us playing the right way, but he wasn't really a socialite. He was a bit of a teetotalerish sort of thing. I mean, had the odd, obviously we took 3 promotions, didn't we? So he would have the glass of wine occasionally when maybe got leathered on 3 nights out of 10 years sort of thing.
Yeah.
But no, you've got to, when you're working with like males, and you know what I mean, you've got to be have a laugh at you along the way as well. And if you're drinking and socialising together, you don't have to be socialising. You know, not everybody has to go out sort of thing. But if you can just mingle together and have a laugh, and the defeats aren't as bad when you get together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's
win
one of
together,
them.
lose together.
Yeah, stick to your guns and that. And
it's different game now, isn't it? Different game.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry for some of the, especially in the lower leagues, but I don't know if they socialise much in town. Do the lads live in Grimsby from afar?
I think the club has a house on the seafront somewhere, so they've got plenty of places to go out and eat and drink. I think, like you said, there's a lot more caution with them
scrutiny.
Now. Yeah, because
a lot of scrutiny.
Soon get caught out, don't they? And what have you? So.
But yeah, it was Cross Keys was where we used to haunt. Then it changed to the farmhouse, didn't it? Linton and Rose and Crown in Scatha. That was our sort of three boozers where we could hide from Alan. Yeah. So.
Hide from Alan.
And that's where we first met to chat anyway, and that was and I say some great memories you know, of that era, really, right through from 98 to 2000 when you went on to Bristol City then. And
that's right.
And Mansfield. So didn't play so many games for them. You had 359 games for Town with 8 goals, as I reckon it. I don't know if that's right.
I think the stats are wrong. I think so. My dad says anyway. It's more. I think, is that league games or
I think that's all together, but
I think it's about 400 odd. But I don't know. I can't read. So
I thought you were going to say it's not right. It's more like 58 goals.
No, definitely not that. No, I think it might be 10.
And you mentioned now you're in your work. You're good with people. But do you think being a dressing room, a stalwart of the dressing room, made you into that, or was you a people-y person anyway?
No, you're there from a kid, aren't you? Really. So I think you're either a people person or you're not really. Yeah. So you can't really just sort of manufacture it, can you? So
no.
I took it away from obviously players who played in our generation sort of thing. Our level, you're not going to retire at 35, are you? Unfortunately, so you've got to go try and reinvent yourself in some capacity, haven't you? So I've been retired longer than I played now, so it seems a distant memory. It's lovely to talk about it.
When I was asking you about one of the matches earlier, and you said, Dave, that's 38 years ago, I'm thinking, Christ, it is, isn't it? And
it's 30, it's 87, yeah.
You forget though, don't you? That's how long it is. And I mean, at Wembley in 98, my wife would just found out who was pregnant with my daughter, my eldest, who's now 26. And you think, Christ.
That wasn't a bad year for you then, mate, was it? Good year for you then.
And we actually told our friends, we'd gone away for the weekend. There was about 8 of us, 4 couples. We stayed overnight, and we told them in the ground. We sort of announced it to our closest friends that day, which was really nice.
Was your wife not drinking then?
No, she wasn't. No.
It didn't bother no parents did it? The old
no, absolutely. Which is probably why we turned out how we did.
Exactly, absolutely.
Listen, Matt, we've kept you for a lot longer than I anticipated, but it'd be great if you come back and chat to us sometime in the future. Again, it's been really great to have you on, and great to see you again. And I have to thank you for a few years ago when I was feeling a bit flat one night. You reached out to me for a chat, which was really nice of you. So
that's what we're here for, Nibble. Thanks for the invite. And obviously, anytime you want to have a catch up sort of thing, Mia.
We'll do, mate.
That's great. Let's all we beat Warrington twice this year, David. And
we failed to mention that we're both big rugby league fans. And
I don't talk about rugby.
Mark's a big.
You'd enjoy it, Steve. To be fair, it's a lot better. People get stuck in and that. Yeah.
Sometimes it's better than football, and it's better than certainly better than the other code, isn't it?
Well, let's hope that obviously have a good finish of the season. Maybe not far off the playoffs. I think town really. Do you know when you look at it? I mean, it's madness, isn't it? Because very inconsistent, aren't they?
Yeah, consistently inconsistent. Anyway,
but struggle to score a few goals, don't they? I think, and keep clean sheets.
Yeah,
so
letting them in is the problem.
Need you back.
Well, hey, definitely not. Was that
Thank you for watching or listening to tonight's show. You can catch us on YouTube, podcasts on Podbean or Apple Podcasts. You can also find us on our social media channels of Instagram, Twitter, or X as it's now known, TikTok and Facebook. Please like, subscribe and share at every opportunity. It helps us a lot.